Looks like it's Monday. We are live. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Boy, has it been a Monday. Hey, you know what? This is I decided to soak in a hot bath last night with Epsom salt as opposed to the hot shower where I could actually wash my hair. So this is like, this is the throw a hat on day. Forgive me. Wowza, wowza. So, posted this on my Facebook timeline. I had a plumber, kind of not like, okay, let me back up. Not an actual plumber, a handyman with a specialty in plumbing. I made sure because my regular handyman could not do this job because he didn't have some tool that was needed or something. So I hire this other service, talked about the job at hand. They assured me it was not a problem. And my original handyman had bought all the parts. And so this guy comes and he's working on stuff and he gets the faucet in, and I'm really happy with the faucet. Faucet's awesome. And then the other project was to run a water line so that I could have ice and water out of the refrigerator that has ice and water. I decided, no, I wasn't going to fight with my landlord over it. I was just going to pay to have that done. And the guy quoted me how much extra over the faucet it would be, and I agreed to it. And then the guy working here decides that he needs a part. Well, he didn't know that I understand enough of Spanish to understand that this was like a $5 part at the most. So he tells me I got to run to Home Depot to get this part. His boss texts me and says it'll be $20 more because he had to go get this part. And I said, isn't it a $5 part? And he goes, oh, gas and time. Like, okay, but I supplied all the other parts for this. And the guy should have really looked ahead of time to see, you know, what parts were needed before quoting the job. It's just like us with shipping. It's like if I underestimate how much that shipping is going to cost or the materials cost me more, that's on me once I've given the price. But anyway, okay, whatever. So long story short, I know it's too late for that. He gets it all hooked up, and then the little connector right inside the back of the refrigerator has a leak. And he goes, oh, I can't fix that. I can't fix that. You have to get somebody else. So I paid all that money, and now I still can't use the ice. This house is a hot mess. I'm just saying, this house is a hot mess. Every time I turn around, my original handyman told me there are structural issues with the house, just based on where he sees stress cracks and the sponginess of the floor. I think I said something on one of my live sales, like the floor was bouncing, and it's like, floor's not supposed to bounce. So it's either termites or water damage in the foundation, which is a built-up wood found. Oh my goodness gracious. So I'm taking a deep breath. Can't solve it today, but at least I got my nice new faucet on my kitchen sink. And then I was thinking, like, what can we talk about today? And between a thread going on over in the Niche to Profit Facebook group and comments that I continue to get on my channel, I thought we should really talk about the great debate. Is it okay to buy items at a thrift store and sell them on our eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, et al. Sites? Yeah, this house, they won't ever, I know, I do this little squirrel thing when I see the chat. They will not be able to sell this house without some major, major money invested on repairing things. It would not pass inspection. Not even close. Bree, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. I would love that. I would love that. And then we can go thrifting. I'm just saying. See, things always work out. I didn't buy it. No, I'm renting. I'm a renter. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, there's no there. Yeah, no. So the landlord is replacing the electric panel, but it's been over a week, so I haven't been able to run any space heaters. So my room is freezing cold because the air does not balance well in the house. It's like super warm in the kids' rooms, and my end of the house is freezing. So I had a space heater, which I can't run now. It's okay. It's all right. So, okay. Yeah, I know. I've already talked to an attorney. The fact that she's replacing the panel, nothing I can do. The fact that she's going to fix the pool, like as long as she does it, it's just that if she doesn't do anything. And I get it. I'm trying to have some compassion. Her mom's in the hospital, and she's been really nice. It's just really hard when you're paying so much money for a place and to not have things livable. Yeah. Yeah, there probably are renter inspections, but I've never thought to look for that. I've just never questioned it. Oh yeah, the joys of renting. It is my goal to buy. Like it really, really, I have got to ramp eBay up and do more videos and do all the stuff that's going to make it possible for me to buy my own house. That is definitely my goal. My poor kids. My kids are so tired of moving. And I'm actually really, really nervous right now that my actual landlord is an 80-year-old lady, and it's her daughter who I communicate with who's managing things. And the mom's in the hospital right now in kidney failure, and I don't know what's going to happen if she passes and then they try to sell the. I just don't even want to think about moving again right now until I do some massive, massive yard sales and get rid of lots of stuff. Like, I know I hate the whole not fully unpacking thing. I just want to stay someplace for years and years and years. I have moved 3 times in the last 4 years, and it's getting a little old. Don't want to do it. And my kids, actually my son, like opened up and said something to me about how bad the moving sucks. So, because he's on the autism spectrum, so change is really hard. He's doing okay here now because he's got his routines and things are settling in and stuff. But he had a rough time this time. Rough time. Yeah, I don't want to buy this place. This place needs tens of thousands of dollars of work to make it upgraded. And like I said, if there's foundational issues, that's a no-go. Yeah, I do want to buy, but this isn't the place. You moved every 6 weeks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could not move every 6 weeks. Anyway, today's topic. Okay, I'm not going to get sidetracked anymore. So there is this debate about I talk a lot about pricing. Let's go there first. I've had people like call me out for complaining about Goodwill pricing because they know I'm going to take the item and I'm going to sell it for lots of money, and they think that is wrong. So the problem with that way of thinking is in retail, you are in a region, you're local, you have a local demographic of buyers, and you have to cater to those buyers. If your buyers are willing to pay those bigger prices, then so be it. But what we see happening with Goodwill is the items are not selling even at half price, because they do go to half price for a week out of the month. So even at half price, those items are not selling, and they are ending up sending them to the bins. Now, Goodwill does have that. And more often than not, things are getting destroyed, damaged, and go into the landfill. And that's the part I have issue with. It's not them asking the prices. It's them pricing themselves out of the market to where, buyers can afford to buy. I'm sorry, I pushed a button. I'm like, I was getting ready to like push over in the chat, and I pushed a button and took myself off the screen. Okay, it's all good. So let me just I want to make sure that I'm interacting with you and the comments over there. Because I tend to let the comments get too far ahead, and then yeah, this is not live sale time. Live sales are on Fridays at 1 o'clock. This is our chit chat time. Goodwill does sell online. Goodwill has shopgoodwill.com. It's an auction site, and they sell things for more than I can afford to buy them to resell them. So more power to them. I don't have a problem with that at all. That's their right. They're a business. And that if that's successful for them to raise the funds for their mission, that's great. They should do that. They also sell on eBay. That's great. They should do that. I'm talking if it's on the shelves. If it's on the shelves, it's like they're having remorse, that they didn't grab it, or I'm not even sure what the thinking is, because not all Goodwills are the same either. I mean, I was told that the managers decide on the pricing. Now, I'm sure there's guidance that comes from corporate for sure. Yeah, exactly, Deb. That what's wrong is Goodwill is hiking the price, then throwing away or smashing the items because they won't sell. That's my issue. That's exactly my issue. 100%. Yeah, it's hard to talk and go through the chat, but I don't want to miss what you guys are saying. Yeah, you know what? Boycotts never work. It's not going to work because you can't stop everybody from going to Goodwill. You just can't do it. So that's not going to work. And that's kind of like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I'm actually like rethinking my savers, like not going thing. Because again, I still find stuff even when they do their antics. I'm one little person. I'm not going to knock them out of business. I'm just not. Now I am thinking of writing to corporate. I am thinking of reaching out to corporate. For me, a couple different reasons. For this issue, maybe, and not confrontational. Confrontation doesn't work. You're not going to change anybody's mind with confrontation. You're going to change it with education. Give them a point of view they may not have thought of. Give them a publicity perk that will promote them better. Because I know a lot of the stores don't allow video because we go out there and we kind of talk about the prices, so I've gotten a little more careful about how I do that, because I thought, you know what, I want Goodwill on my side. I want Goodwill to be okay with me filming, and to do that, I want to educate them more that it's people like me, single mom, selling online. Like that's a huge perk of what they're doing. That is a nonprofit. It's not their mission, but it promotes their mission in a way too, because it's still, I do job training. Like I'm training new sellers all the time, and I'm doing that by showing them, go to Goodwill, come buy this stuff. I'm creating more customers for them. So I want to come at it from that angle for me personally, so that I can film more, so that I can, get more open with things. Yeah, a lot of them just throw stuff in the dumpsters. Yeah, and it's heartbreaking. Well, you would be surprised. I get a lot of comments that I have to remove that are just, not. I'm fine with comments that are an opposing opinion. So I'm not censoring, but if they call me stupid or entitled or, all the different names that I get called because I am ruining the whole business of reselling by making YouTube videos, I do delete those. Yeah, I too would love to know what their, it's called a P&L statement. So your P&L, your profit and loss statement, shows your revenue and your expenses and all of that. I mean, I would love to see how sales revenue has increased or decreased. I suspect that it's doing just fine because people are still buying. Now, a lot of people wait and go on the sales days, which frustrates me because that's the one thing I just won't do right now. I mean, I never did it before. Don't get me wrong. It isn't just a cousin Rona thing. This is me always being a bit of a germaphobe about getting illnesses from other people. Like we're talking colds and flus and strep throat and tuberculosis and whatever else is out there. I mean, there's always been stuff out there you can catch. And I've always been very, very protective because even before I did this, I was a singer. I sang every single Sunday at church. I needed my voice. I can't get sick. And now being single mama, you know, who's going to do this for me? Who's going to do any of this for me? I can't get sick. So I've always been protective of not going into big crowds that way. Then you bring on this, and then there you go. Yes, exactly, exactly. The items shouldn't be so high that the poor can't get started the same as the established resellers do. And I think that is the point they are missing, is that the majority of resellers are not millionaires. We are people who are supplementing an income. We are doing this to put food on the table. We are doing this to support our families. And that, again, anybody who wants to write a letter to Goodwill Corporate, come at it from that angle. You know, acknowledge the good that they are doing for the community and give them a place where it could be publicly known how much they are helping people, especially like right now with people out of work. It's a tremendous way to supplement income, and they're helping with that. Trina, we all of us YouTubers are getting it. We are all getting it. I assure you, the people going out and making these comments are watching all the channels and then choosing to leave these comments. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I should show you what I'm commenting to. Are Goodwills and thrift stores count people and make a line outside? Yes, but you've got still, it's right now, I think we're at 25% capacity. So if that store holds 1,000 people, you're still got 250 people in there shopping. And they're rotating. So there's still an enormous amount of people going through that store and breathing on the stuff. Yeah. So it's still a lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah. You won't even get me in a Walmart right now because they have about 40,000 square feet. That means 10,000 people can be in that store at the same time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I know we better stop talking about this, or I'm going to get, you notice I don't say any of the words. Yeah. Goodwills are grouped regionally. Yes. Yes. They are a nonprofit. Make no mistake. Goodwill is a nonprofit and they are regionally. Yes. It's a very strange kind of way. So they're separate, but under a big corporate umbrella. Yeah. Hey, crazy lamp lady's here. Yeah, so, and she can probably tell you over in the comments, she gets the comments too. So, you know, it's okay for a business to go by supply and demand. There's nothing wrong with that. We saw this happen when storage wars came out. So anybody who does storage lockers, you know, let me think what year that was. It was, let's see, Noah was a baby. So we're talking, you know, 15 years ago ish, somewhere in there. I did storage lockers. I mean, that was big business. That's where I got most of my eBay stuff because that was a tremendous business. And then the show Storage Wars came along and it got people really excited about buying storage lockers. So prices went up, but that's just the market dictating, okay, you got more people now, less inventory, more demand makes for higher prices, right? And then you got the people that figured out, oh, you mean there isn't going to be, what can I say without getting in trouble here? There's not a pew pew and a $10,000 antique and all of this wonderful stuff in every single storage locker. What? So then people started realizing the amount of work that they had to do to realize the profit. And now it's balanced out again. You can now go and get back in the storage locker business at reasonable prices. But for a while you couldn't. Now, Goodwill, granted, I am sure that the more people that are learning to go out and thrift and do all this stuff, of course, the thrift stores are savvy to it. I managed a thrift store. I ran a thrift store, and we put stuff online because that's the nonprofit's mission has to be fulfilled. Legally, it has to be fulfilled. So they have to get the max amount of revenue for their nonprofit. But there's just this balance. Like, you have a local market, you have to cater to the local market. Kind of said that once already. And the local market is not the person on the other side of the country who doesn't have access to the same stuff. Like here, maybe not so much in Nevada, but when I was in Arizona, like there's an abundance of Native American pottery and jewelry and Mexican folk art and all of that stuff. So it's super cheap on this side of the country. But if you look at eBay, you get really good prices for the stuff because it's a regional thing. Now, if the thrift store goes and looks at those prices and goes, oh, well, I need to price it, like, look, they got $35 for this, so we need to price it at least, 20 or 25. They're not going to get it. And then what happens is it, like you guys were talking about, it gets thrown in a dumpster or goes to the bins or gets damaged because it sat too long and nobody buys it. So they're actually doing a disservice to their nonprofit by not realizing their regional market. I mean, I had people that would walk into the thrift store and, they buy a bunch of stuff and they like, I know who the resellers are. You don't have to tell me. I can tell just by watching what you're buying and looking at the prices. It'll like, please. But I'm always like, hey, let me give you 50% off. It's all good. And our store sales increased over the previous management that was trying to pinch every penny out of everything. And then we also ran 75% off sales about once every 6 to 8 weeks, which was, come in and get it. If it didn't sell at that full price, now it's 75% off. I mean, and that works really well. I use that same mentality in my eBay store. I will put it at the full high-end price that I'm hoping to get for it. I take offers. I send offers to watchers. And after it's in there a certain amount of time, I start marking it down, just like retail, to the point where, I mean, I don't mark down lower than 50%, but when it's time to clear out, I'll pull things out of the store and I will sell them for what I paid for them at my yard sale so that I'm not losing money on them. So let me catch up on chat again. Yeah, every store is different. I've actually found a Goodwill that is perfectly fine with me videoing. They are the friendliest, most amazing people. Like, I'm going there every week now. Oh, that's right. I remember you had one that posted the no video. It's just, different people have different ideas about how things work. And sometimes there's what's the word I'm looking for? They feel like it's a diss on them that they didn't figure out that they could take that item and price it, crazy high or something. Like they're taking it personally that we're going in and finding things to resale. Yeah, you can't really change people that way. But at a corporate level, you might be able to, like I said, by showing them like, look, this is who the resellers are. We're not, you know, like crazy millionaires who are just going in and jacking prices up on stuff. And not everything we buy sells. And that's the other thing you have to keep in mind. There's a sell through. Well, unless you're Jocelyn and you're running auctions. Hey, which I want to talk about for a second since she's over there. Like, you guys, I get so many comments about, hey, but Crazy Lamp Lady does it. It's like, I just want to say right here publicly, Crazy Lamp Lady has built a phenomenal brand and a phenomenal business, and it didn't happen overnight. She has worked very hard to build her business up to the point she is able to do an auction format on her eBay store. Most of you are not able to just go in there and run auctions and get the prices that you want. I'm not even at that level, okay? I think she is an incredibly savvy businesswoman who knows her stuff, and she knows her niche. Like, how many of you watch her videos and watch her past stuff? You're going, why didn't you get that? It's not her niche. It's not her niche. And I tell people that too. Like, they tell me, like, why didn't you pick that up? It's not my niche. And that's okay. So it's really good to watch that and learn that you too can create your own brand and set your business up to be whatever you want it to be and have crazy good sales. Yeah, so I just want to say that. And Jocelyn, I learned so much from her, you know, and I am so thankful that she has her channel out there and keeps putting herself out there to be vulnerable to everyone. So she's created the home shopping network for antiques and collectibles. No, it's an outstanding business model that she's built. But I just want you guys to know, this is not a business that is a you know, make $100,000 a year in sales overnight. It's a lot of work and a lot of strategy. It's strategy, which I try to convey to you guys the way I do it, and you see the way she does it, and then you got to develop the way that's going to work for you to do it, because there is no one size fits all in this reselling business, and it's probably a good thing. Like, if we were all doing the same thing, it'd be really boring. Be really boring. But yeah, she is an inspiration. She is. Yes. But yeah, that's why I'm the niche lady. I have always, for, you know, as long as I have been coaching and teaching people to sell on eBay, it's been my thing. You need to develop that niche. If you are just watching 20 different YouTube channels and seeing what they buy and then buying all those same things, everything from clothing, shoes, electronics, hats, antiques, collectibles, you have an online yard sale. Okay, I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's an online yard sale, and you're not going to get the prices of a specialty store, of an online business. And that is why I preach niche, because once you figure out that niche, again, it goes back kind of to our original conversation about retail stores need to know who their customer is. And you can't know who your customer is if you haven't developed a product array that attracts a certain type of person. And a thrift store attracts a certain type of person. They are not attracting the person who is sitting in the $1 million house buying everything online because they can for convenience, and they just impulse buy. Yeah. Wow, 650,000 views. Oh, see, this needs to stop. If anybody is watching this right now and you are even thinking of leaving an ugly negative comment because we are out there teaching people to thrift and resale, just don't do it. Can we just go back to, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all? Like, what happened to that? I grew up with that. Now we've got social media where people get to hide behind an anonymous name and just be mean. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I only get upset with Jocelyn when she walks by the tortoises and the turtles. But not really, not really. Yes, there are many, many private thrift stores out there. So let me explain how the nonprofit world works, since I actually have a nonprofit. I've gone through the process and I know a little more than the average person. So there are large corporate nonprofits like Goodwill and Salvation Army, and I'm sure you can think of like a gazillion other ones. Those are big, huge corporations, but they didn't just start that way overnight. Again, they built that business up over many, many years. So then you have people who can start a nonprofit. Anybody can start a nonprofit, by the way. Super easy. I helped a friend start a horse rescue nonprofit. And then I realized that what I wanted to do was empower women who'd come out of similar situations as me, that, hey, you don't need to now go spend a bunch of money going to college and trying to get a degree and probably still being aged out of, getting a really good job. You can have your own business, and it can be a very healthy, profitable, home-based business. And so that is why I started the Niche Foundation. And you file paperwork with your state first. So you first get your status through the state that you live in. So we have had that here since January of 2020. And we were well on our way until cousin Rona stepped her little ugly head in. So we had some setbacks in getting the federal end of the paperwork done. Now, the federal end is where the 501c3 status comes from. And all that means is that the nonprofit now becomes tax exempt. So a nonprofit can run and sell things and make profits, but until they have 501c3 status, they have to pay taxes on that profit. They're not truly nonprofit, and people who donate don't get the benefit of a tax write-off for donating. So that's how it works. So you have a mission statement. So you have to like narrow down who it is you are going to serve in the community. You have to give a business plan, financial plan. You don't own a nonprofit, and a nonprofit is managed by a board. So I have a board of myself and 4 other ladies who run the Niche Foundation. It isn't owned by me, and I don't get the money from it. It's simply something I manage. So, and then a nonprofit can have a thrift store, and not all of them do, but a lot of them do. So there's little independent nonprofits who run thrift stores so that they can bring more revenue to their nonprofit. Case in point, the dog junkies that I go to here, their nonprofit is a Home for Spot, which is a dog rescue whose specialty is in senior dogs and dogs with medical needs. And then they get all those medical needs taken care of. So I actually go in there and I don't mind spending more. I'll pay more. I actually, like, they told me a price on something. I'm like, it's worth way more than that, right? And I gave them more because I love that I know that the money is going right into that cause. It's so true. If you don't have haters, yeah, you're doing something wrong. Oh, Susan, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I absolutely have some questions. Like, if you could send me a message on either Facebook or send me an email so we can connect on that, that would be awesome. Yes, Joyce, that is true. A nonprofit must file a special form of a tax. It's a 990 form. And even though we don't even have our 501c3 yet, we still have to file that form. They're making us file it because we've applied. It's like, okay. Yep, as a collector, you'll pay more if you really want something too. And it's not to say that collectors don't go into thrift stores. They absolutely do. But the main part of their demographic of buyers is resellers. Just is. For the knickknacks and the collectibles and the one-off stuff. Yes, there are poor families who go in for clothing and shoes and household items. But this is the other comment I get a lot, and how I'm taking away from those people being able to buy that stuff. And I will tell you that I really don't buy the things that a family having financial difficulties would be picking up. The tchotchkes and the the glass and that kind of stuff. That's not what they're in there buying. They're in there buying clothing and shoes. And I'm pretty sure they don't care about getting the top brands. And I mean, you guys know, let's say there's a piece of clothing that on the resale market sells for $30. Let's just say, okay, it's a nice brand. They're not pricing it at 30, but they're pricing it like 18 to 20. So it's still discounted for that family who can't pay that full price. So they're still getting a discount. It's not a big enough of a price difference for a reseller to go through all the work and everything. You should at least be able to double your money on things over $15 if you're spending that much, and triple your money if you're spending under $10 to really make it worthwhile. That's kind of like my number. You guys hear me say, I'm looking for the $20 bills, but I'm not paying $15 for a $20 item. I'm trying to pay $5-ish because that's just the math in my head. But I have to clean it. I have to list it, photo it. When it sells, I have to ship it. I have to market my store. I have to manage my store, and not everything sells. So it's not all pure profit. And Goodwill knows that. Goodwill knows that. Hobby collecting can lead you to sales. Yeah, absolutely. You guys, I didn't have to do this to make a living until 4 years ago. I did it, and I had really good sales, and that was our mad money. I was married. My husband had a really good income. I never really thought that I needed, to make a certain amount. So I learned how to have a lot of fun with it. And then when it got down to oh, what am I going to do to support myself? And it was I'm 50 years old. I can't just go get a really good paying job. I've got to do what I know how to do. And that was reselling. So, yeah. Uncle Sam always gets his cut. Yes, that's true too. That's true too. But yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, okay. Who in my chat is a full-time reseller? Full-time reseller. I actually, if you guys are, oh, and yes, yeah. And you taught me to do that too. Thank you, Jocelyn. I had a lot of trouble doing that at first. I felt like I had to respond. Nope. Great advice. Who is a full-time reseller? Okay. So those of you who are full-time resellers, how many hours a week do you work? Because I'm pretty sure it's more than 40. I know it's more than 40 for me. But the cool thing is it's okay, because it's most of what I'm doing, I love. So it doesn't feel like work. There's only a small part of it that feels like work. So that's the really cool thing about being self-employed. Yeah, see, Bree, 60, too much. Not enough. You get into it what you get out of it, what you put into it. So, but yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast doing it. And I know my kids don't always think it's a blast, but sometimes they get involved. It's family business. They know they're going to inherit the business, so they better learn. Noah actually, he doesn't edit all my videos yet, but we're working towards that. He just has a lot of self-doubt. He does the shipping videos. That's all Noah. I hand him the files. Noah edits the shipping videos, and we're working towards him being able to do a lot of the other videos too, because he's starting to talk about wanting to drive. And I'm like, you know, that comes with expenses. I think you need to work for your mama. Yeah, can't complain. Yes, Noah is amazing. TV? What is TV? I don't watch. I watch YouTube videos when I go to sleep with at night. Is watching YouTube videos. It's just way better for the brain. Yep, you get the flexibility. You know, it's you get up and you think I'm going to start my day, and it's like, you know what? I just want 30 more minutes just to lay here in bed. And guess what? You get to do that if you're self-employed, unless you have a big Rottweiler like breathing in your face, which is what happens when the kids aren't here. Like Xena does not let me sleep in. She's like right there in my face, like mom, mom, mom. And like I learned I can't ignore that because she's a very elderly dog, and she must have the bladder of smaller than a chihuahua because she can't hold it. I'll just say that much. Except when you want to do it all the time. Well, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Sometimes just getting going gets you out of that mode. I can tell some of you are watching back from the beginning. There's a lot of people, you know, I don't want to discourses. Was almost a whole nother word, because I actually have a course coming out. I've been filming videos for it. That is a step-by-step, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes I have purchased courses to get me into learning something because I need something that I can go back and reference over and over and that kind of thing. So don't just say that a course is not for everyone, because it absolutely is. Can you learn everything for free? Sure. Information's out there. But sometimes it's just really nice to cut corners and get everything all in one spot and boom, get it done. Having a discussion about deleting listings. Are we talking about deleting active listings or sold listings? I usually don't delete anything. I don't have time to go delete things. So bad. But I delete active listings all the time. There's no repercussions from deleting active listings. Canceling a sale, that's bad. Well, you go from your full-time job to your part-time work daily, 10 to 12 hours a day. Woo! Give yourself some you time. Give yourself some you time. Now you can delete active listings. Now it's different, auction format versus fixed price. If you have bidders and then you cancel a listing, that's bad. That's bad. But if you just have fixed price listings and you want to take them down, there's nothing that will come back at you on that. You need to revamp your eBay store. Yeah. eBay's making some really, really good changes. They have, I mean, some of you probably heard about the whole scandal thing. I made a video about it. You can go back and watch about the huge scandal that rocked eBay in 2019 and had several top executives end up going to prison. And over the last year, they have, you know, kind of reset things. They have a new CEO. They have, I always forget their positions. Jordan Sweetnam, who's kind of like second down from the CEO, is so involved in the community. He listens to us. He's in the group. He's in the group. A couple of executives are in the group. And they are listening. They've got their ear on things, and they're trying to fix things, and they're working through things. So it's a very positive direction that I see eBay going in. They are improving the listing tool, which I've had access to and taken a sneak peek. Some of you might start seeing access to it. It'll be a little thing up in the corner when you go to create a listing. It's try the new listing tool. It's got the what do you call it? The background remover tool now in the photo editing. That's in there. It's supposed to just streamline it a little better. I think it's simpler. I gotta see how it all comes together. I saw this question come through. How do you like managed payments so far? I love it. I love it. The only thing I don't like about it is for like an item not received claim, it puts your funds on hold. And with the recent stuff with the post office, with several of those coming through, that was a big chunk of change being held up. So that's the only thing that I'm not a fan of. I do the daily payout. So I've constantly got money rolling into my bank account. I use pending funds to print my shipping labels. And now the biggest thing is that I don't have a big honking huge scary bill every single month like I did before. When you get up to having a lot of sales, you get a very, very big invoice to pay, and it can be daunting. And now with the money just coming out of the final value fee coming out of every sale, don't have that anymore. It's beautiful. Oh, I'm all about hiring help when it makes sense. Yeah, all about it, all about it. I had help at the old house where I was living, and he's on standby, but twice he came in contact with someone who possibly was positive, and then he couldn't come to work for 2 weeks, and then I was like, because of his other job. So that's why I have not had him come back. And so I'm still regrouping. I am still trying to figure out, everything here. I'm totally going to hire a lister. Like, you get to a certain point. Here's the thing. In any business, no matter what it is, you have certain things about running that business that I call your money things. They're the things that no one else can do and make the same amount of money in your business that you do. So for me, that is going to be the sourcing of the product and the pricing. So I don't let go of those two things. I keep doing those things, but I can have somebody write up the listings, take the pictures, do the shipping. Those things don't make me more money. If I pay somebody to do those things and spend more time on the things that make me money, there's more money. And then I can get to the point where I can hire more people, and so on and so on. And that's how a business grows. You delegate the things that you can and focus on the things that you can't, and boom, you have a rip-roaring good business. And there's nothing wrong with hiring help. Nothing at all. Oh, Lois, I hope you feel better. Sorry to hear that. Does thrifting from lowest make more sense now? I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean thrifting from lowest? Let me see. I'm coming back up. We're having some money. Oh, do you think, say, Walmart would source from the highest price or lowest price? That's a good point, retail stores buy their stuff at a lower price point. Yeah, retail stores are still buying stuff cheap, buying stuff at wholesale, getting wholesale accounts. There's a question about tax ID number or not. Stephen Williams, was that in reference to something else? The chat goes super fast. Yay, Lisa. You got the confidence to buy a higher priced item when normally you source as cheap as possible. Yeah, it's that the sourcing as cheap as possible is going to keep you at a certain level of sales. I mean, at some point, you either have to multiply the amount of those cheaper items you sell or raise your ASP, your average selling price, and sell, the same amount of items, but with a greater profit margin. Do you ever feel, wait, where'd it go? All right, stop chat. Do you ever feel bad checking your phone for pricing while thrifting? Nope. Nope. Why? Why would I feel bad? Because you know what? The person putting the price tag on it could have done the same thing. And we know they do. We know they do. I know the red tag here in Las Vegas, I was told by an employee that the red tagged items are things they looked up. That's why they put the red tag on them. So they're doing it. Makes good sense. That makes good business. You still need to know how to research. That's why I try to teach you guys how to do the research too. Because a lot of times they'll look up and they'll see maybe lower priced sales, but learning your stuff and you still know, well, that eBay seller sold it too cheap and I don't have to sell it that cheap, so I can make good money on it. Oh, I bet you could tell stories about how Walmart does its sourcing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a Walmart girl. I'm not a Walmart girl. Cheap comes with a price. You can quote me on that. Cheap comes with a price. I mean, and a lot of you also come from the days of quality had value. And now not so much, furniture is made. Okay. I cheaped out on the cost of the beds that I bought for my children, the bed frames. They come in 2 boxes and it's that press board stuff that you have to put together and it's kind of an ordeal and they crack as you're screwing in the screws. And I learned a lesson there. Like I went cheap and I got cheap, versus going and just paying a little more for a quality piece. It's going to last forever. But most people are buying on price now. They just do. You're just getting started in the Chicago area, have some items to sell, even things I had in my own home. How do I get buyers to my eBay store? Well, the beautiful thing is, first of all, that eBay is driving traffic. So you want to not think so much about how do I get that person to my eBay store. It is that you want to optimize your titles and your pricing and your descriptions to get the right person to see the item, ultimately come in and love it and buy it. That's the piece that makes all the difference. Now, once you get that person attracted into your store by that item, if they go in and find that item, they love it, likelihood is they want to go and check out what else you have for sale. And then that's when you get the multiple orders and the repeat buyers and all of that. That's where you want to have a following. So there's a way to have followers on eBay itself. I don't know if I can do this on short notice and show you how to follow. Let me see if I can figure it out real quick. I'm just going to pull up a listing and see what it looks like real quick. I'll share my screen while I'm doing this. I'll show you what I'm doing. Oops, I didn't share my screen yet. There we go. Okay, so I'm on a listing. This is somebody I know through my group who's got this amazingly gorgeous Afghan for sale. Let's see if there's a way here to, also, you guys, this is what happens. Let me just do a little aside here. You've got a really nice listing price. The person's all ready to go for it. They want to come look at your description. eBay sends them elsewhere. I hate this. I hate this. eBay's out for eBay. Can't knock them for it, but it's really irritating. So before they even get to your description, you know, they have to go through all that. Maybe somebody else knows. How do you follow a seller? Because I honestly, I have not figured that out. Now, if you want to avoid people seeing this, here's my super tip of the day. This is how you do it. Get this filled out with lots of words. So you have to use the business listing form, or I think if you use the new listing format that they have, you need to be able to fill in the item description with more than just selecting used, pre-owned, new, all of that. If you fill that box in to the point where it says see more, it boom, 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 booms them right down to your description and bypasses all that other stuff. I'm just saying. So that's where you want to have that. So, oh, I just saw it. I just saw it. See, save this seller. So you can just hit save this seller. Now what happens is you'll receive email and feed alerts when new items arrive. So that's what you want people to do. You want people to love your stuff so much that they want to save this seller and they start following you. And now they're going to start seeing alerts when you do things in your store. So that's how you market that. Yep, it's a save seller. I didn't realize that there used to be a thing of signing up for like a seller's newsletter and that. Yeah. I have a plethora of saved sellers because I still watch all of my past students, you know, and make sure that they're staying on track. I still want to travel this year. I want to travel. I want to go shop different places. Pennsylvania is on my bucket list. Those Goodwills are crazy out there. I mean, crazy as in like good stuff and good prices. I see something is frustrating, hard to even find item specifics. On what, Susie? What's frustrating? Yeah, they changed the wording. They changed the wording, but it's all good. Yeah, we're starting something over in the Niche to Profit Facebook group. I'm getting a database together of everybody who's got stores. I'm really making you guys look at your niches. And if you don't have one, we can look at that. Most people have a niche and they don't even realize it. It's very interesting. And I have worked with hundreds of eBay sellers, and it's very few that I find that don't actually have a niche, and it just needs to be organized better. So, yay for becoming top seller. Why do you only see top seller plus items? I don't know. Because eBay does promote top rated seller plus items. That's one of the perks. It's how the search algorithm works. What determines what you sell in the booth and what you sell online? I know for me, it's two things. It's larger items that I don't want to ship, and that the shipping amount is going to detract from the price point of the item, making it harder to sell. Whereas I could ask more for the item based on the person not having to pay for shipping, but yet it's still not as much as the two combined. And then also it is items that I end up finding don't have enough of a profit margin for me to go through the hassle of listing it. Because you figure every listing that I make, I've got to add about $2 to $3, depending what it is, $2 to $3 of additional cost into the item by the time I pay a lister and all of that. So it's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth it. And some things you just know your local market is going to scoop up better. Yeah. I hear you, Diana. I want to do that too. I want to rent like an RV. I really want to rent an RV because then I don't have to worry about hotel reservations, all of that. I can just pull over and sleep and just hit the road. Just hit the road. Like my daughter and I have talked about doing that. It would make for some good video too. Having an issue with categories. Lois, are you over in the Facebook group? I'm sure we can help you with that over there. Yes. Sandy, my Goodwill scatters things too. I'm always trying to regroup them. I think when you travel, can't you write it off on your taxes as a business expense? Yes, you can. If you're doing it strictly for your business, you absolutely can. Yep. It's just like, okay, so you probably can't write off getting your hair done and getting your nails done unless you have a YouTube channel, at which point, like, I can write off getting my hair done and getting my nails done because it's something that I have to do for my business. It's a nice perk. Facebook group name is Niche to Profit on eBay, Etsy, and more. And Melissa will probably put the link over there for you. RV every summer and pick up item. Yeah, I love it. So it's why I love traveling to, San Diego, just to get out of like hometown. It gets a little boring just going to the same places. I like to explore. It would make great video, wouldn't it? I'm kind of learning to do more of the, well, you saw in like the last couple days, more of a day in the life. It's my horse friend texting me. A day in the life kind of clips. So we can caravan to Pennsylvania in the fall, going to Hershey and Carlisle. Bree, let's talk about that. It's got to be before it gets cold, though. It's got to be before it gets cold. That East Coast and snow thing. I don't want to do that. We had snow here for a day, and I thought I was going to die. Yes. Are you able to deduct airfare, etc., when you travel to San Diego or other places when you're thrifting? I don't, because it's a mix of business and pleasures. Like, I don't want to give the IRS any reason to, come up with red flags on me. It's all good. You can learn a lot of stuff on YouTube, for sure. Yeah, so that's I think it's one of the great perks about being self-employed is that there's so much stuff you can write off that you can't do if you're a W-2 employee. I mean, you can write off a portion of your home if you're a home-based business. You can write off your gas to go yard sailing and thrifting and all the stuff you buy for resale you write that all off. So if you sell $100,000, let's just put a big number out there, you don't pay taxes on $100,000. You just deduct all of these things and get your tax liability down to a point where it's manageable. I know a lot of people are afraid of making too much money at this because they're going to have to pay taxes. And I'm like, that's a good problem. That's a good problem. If you have to pay taxes, that's a good problem. It means you're making money. That's That's so true. Before YouTube, Goodwills were someplace middle class wouldn't go. It was tacky. Like, yeah, I'm not going to a thrift store. So true. Like, we've upscaled these thrift stores for them. And the shipping supplies, that's the other thing. Yes. Yeah, so there's so many benefits. Like, if you guys really want to do this, if you really want to be a reseller, don't let anything stop you. Yes, prices go up. Prices always go up. Prices are higher now than they were 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's a fact of life. And we balance that out. And even though prices go up at Goodwill, prices are going up for the stuff we get. And that's one of the things I teach you guys. Don't look at the lowest end of what something sold for. Sort by highest and see the possibility. Look and say, I gotta have something in my hand. I need a visual. All right, I'm researching my little beautiful little tortoise that Melissa sent me. What's his name? I don't remember his name. Oh, it's Timmy. It's Timmy. I knew he had a name. So I'm looking up Timmy, and I'm looking in solds. And I'm sorted by highest first. And I see there's a seller that sold Timmy for, and I'm just going to throw numbers out. I haven't done this search. Somebody sold Timmy for $40. And then another seller sold him for $32. And another seller sold him for $31. And another seller sold him for $25. So I go, wait a minute. There was somebody willing to pay $40 for Timmy. I'm pricing up at $40 for Timmy. I'm not pricing at the $25. That was somebody who may have wanted to undercut the higher sellers. That may have somebody who doesn't understand the profit margin issue there, depending what they paid for it, or it's somebody who just is selling stuff and doesn't care. So you have to base your pricing on your business model. I go for the highest price possible and do markdowns. Basic retail. I come from a retail background, so that's how I learned to do it. Manufacturer suggested retail price. Okay, you see that a lot of times on things. That's the high retail price, and there are places who ask that price because that's where that suggested retail price comes from. And then you have the discount stores, and I'm not talking the thrift stores. I'm talking still new discount stores will show you that, and then they show you their price. So it's kind of the same kind of thing. Are you a discount store? Are you a specialty store? I want to be a specialty store. I grew up on thrift store stuff. I had an aunt who worked in a thrift store. Everything I owned came from a thrift store. Clothing, shoes, everything. My mom was poor, 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 and an aunt would send down things, and we didn't think anything of it. It was awesome. And so I can't pay retail. I can't do it. Hey, look who's in the house. It's Joey Bada Bing 22. Joey, you didn't show the hard goods section on your last thrifting video. I'm just saying. Got to keep scanning that stuff for me. Yeah, boutiques. You guys know boutiques, more expensive. People expect things to be more expensive when they walk into a specialty store. So it's all good. It's all good. That's why Walmart has rollbacks. Yeah, even the discount stores have to discount more. They still have clearance. Just pricing strategy. It's knowing what you want your business to do, your brand. Having policies, stick to them. Don't be swayed because somebody on a Facebook group or in a YouTube video or anywhere else tells you you should be doing something differently. It's advice. I'm showing you my business model. Crazy Lamp Lady shows you her business model. There's a dozen other people out there that have a business model they're sharing with you. You can take all that information, then sit down in your corporate meeting. And yes, you can run your corporate meeting, whether it's just you or you and your spouse or you and somebody else, and go, okay, this is what we're going to do. and then give yourself a good 60 to 90 days of implementing something to be able to then look at the results and go, did this work? Yeah, no, not so much. Let's tweak this up a little bit. Let's try this. But you've got to give it time, because if you just go from trying one thing to another thing to another thing every single week, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get frustrated because nothing's going to feel like it works. Okay. All right, Joey. Yeah. All right. Oh, look, it's after 2. No wonder people are texting me and trying to get a hold of me. Everybody's looking for me now. I'm just taking a lazy day today. I'm going to get shipping caught up and unpack some of my stuff in the garage and just, that's it. After this weekend, yeah. Didn't have thrift stores growing up, but did have garage sales and more garage sale clothes. Yeah, it's name brand stuff. It's good stuff. It's like my mom always jokes how I was the best dressed person in school because I had all the name brands, you know? It just was already worn in. Could you give an example of what you would actually make after all costs? So per item, okay. Let's just suppose I had bought little Timmy here. Now, if I knew that I was going to ask $40 for Timmy, I wouldn't want to pay more than $10 for him. Okay, so if I find Timmy for $10, I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to buy Timmy for $10. I'm going to list him for $40. I'm going to hope for $40. I mean, I'm not setting that price thinking that I'm not going to get that price. I'm setting a realistic price that I think I can get for Timmy. So after a certain amount of time, I'm not getting that, I'm going to do a markdown, or I'm going to send an offer to Watcher. Let's say I do 25% off. Oh gosh, you're going to make me do math. What is 25% off of 40? Stand by. It's $30. So now if I sell him for 25% off, that's $30. I've got my $10 investment. Sell him for $30. I've got a $20 profit margin there, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. There's my $20 bill. Because out of that now I have to pay for the final value fees, which are going to be about $4-ish. So about $4 on the final value fee. And let's say I had to put another $2 into my lister. So that's $6 in cost. So now my actual margin on Timmy would have been $14. $14. Yes. I think I did the math right. So, you know, I'd like to have an actual profit, a net profit after all the expenses of at least $10 an item. At least $10 an item. That's my goal. It's what I strive for. Yes, he's an Annalie. Yes, he is. He is. Annalie since 1934. But sorry, he's staying with me. He's very, very special. It's very, very special. So yeah, so you have to decide what the minimum is you are willing to make in this business. That's their first place to start. If you are selling stuff out of your house that, you know, you bought it to use, you've used it, now you're reselling, you're pretty much at a zero cost of goods. Okay, you still get to claim a cost of goods on your taxes, but for all intents and purposes, we're zero cost of goods. So now you can sell something for $15 or $20 and still be at that, you know, like I like to be at that $10. But if you sell it for $10, you have to realize that you're really only getting about $7 or $8 out of it. And then you have to realize how much is your time worth. Because that same amount of time, you can list something that'll sell for bigger money. So Joni says, my net profit averaged $25 per item last year. Every single item I sold was saved or headed to the dumpster. Yep, there you go. And that's just, that's why it's an average. So some will be less, some will be more. You average it out. You want to be at an average. So don't think that just because you do some things at a lower cost that it's going, that you can't do that. You can do that. Just make sure overall you're staying at a certain average. And the lower items will drive your average down. Now see that 40 something is robbery is only $16 in reality. Plus your time, etc. taxes, lucky you get $10. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. You know, and if you want to make, let's even say we want to make a minimum wage of $15. That actually for a 40-hour work week is $600 a week. So you take $600 divided by, if you're only making $10 per item, you got to sell 60 items a week. You got to sell 60 items a week to make that minimum wage. Now it doesn't sound like, you know, we're like taking advantage of Goodwill, does it? We're doing the work. We're doing the work. See how I brought that all back around to the topic? For everybody who's like watched all the way to the end of the video on the replay, yeah, we bring it full circle. For those of you who are here in the live chat, thanks for hanging out. Wow, we've got over 300 people here. I just noticed that. That's awesome. And I'm retired. I can only make a certain amount of money before Social Security starts reducing my amount I receive. Oops. So would it be worth to try reselling? You know, I will tell you something. Unless it's a really good amount that they pay you, yes, do reselling and get yourself not dependent on that. That's the greatest freedom in life, is not to be dependent on a check from the government of any kind. I used to be on disability, and I had that same way of thinking for a very long time, that I've got to make sure I don't make too much, got to make sure I don't make too much. And I can tell you, once I finally let go of that, and it's not that I'm not still disabled, I totally am, but now I get to manage it by like just running my own business. It's freedom you cannot imagine. Like nobody is like, you know, big brother looking down like, oh, you made too much money. That's actually how I lost my disability. I got to the point where they said, okay, you're making too much, you know, we can't pay you anymore. And at first I was upset about it. And then now I can't even tell you the doors it's open. Just getting out of that mentality of, oh, I got to be careful how much I make. Like sky's the limit, you guys. Literally, I know millionaires who are resellers, and that's all they do. There are no limits in this business, which is the absolute amazing thing about it. Only limits are the ones you put on yourself. That's it. And I mean, if that's, I mean, I get it. I know. You invested in the Social Security. It's all good. But I'll tell you, it's always there. It's always there. Well, as long as it's there. As long as, I won't go into that. Just because you make, you know, more money this year and those benefits like drop off, you can pick them back up later. You have to learn, you have to earn quite a bit for it to be taken away. Yeah, my mom's over there saying the only time Social Security takes away if you earn more than X is if you took early retirement Social Security. I did that, and as soon as I turned 66, I could earn as much as I wanted without penalty. Oh, okay. That's good to know. There you go. There you go. My point is just don't limit yourself. Don't be careful of those limiting ideas, you know, and I'm talking to those who like just really are tired of, you know, scraping by every month. This is an amazing time in the reselling world. And yes, there will be a lot of people who try it. A lot of people who try it. A lot of people consuming the YouTube content and thinking, okay, I can do this. And I can tell you that very few will actually get to a point of making this a big business. And that's just how business works. Because again, as I said, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So it needs to be fun, which is why I always say it's got to be fun. That's why I don't do Amazon. I'll just tell you that. I did Amazon. I was really good at Amazon. I can make money on Amazon, but you know what? It feels like a job. I don't like dealing with cough drops and new children's toys. Like, it's not my thing. So that's why I don't do Amazon. But I know millionaires who do Amazon. So I like this stuff. Oh, you can hear the birds. That's through a closed door. Yes, Scoop is very, very vocal. That's the boys. That's the budgies making that noise. Do you end up keeping too many treasures for yourself? No, I've gotten really good at not doing that. Unless it comes to turtles and blue opalescent glass. Those are my weaknesses. Those are my weaknesses. Oh, you got screaming birds? We want to get a little parrot. That's our next adventure. We have something going around here in Nevada right now. What is it? And maybe Jocelyn knows what it's called. Is it beacon? It's like a beacon foot disease, or it's a really bad bird disease, and it transfers even through their dander. And it came from a breeder in California who was bringing birds here, knowing they had this disease, and it's really hard to get rid of. So we're not even going to the bird shows. We're not taking the birds for their little groomings. Like, we're being protective, and we're not bringing in another bird until that is done. Forget what it's called, though. Forget what it's called. Yeah, not all disabilities are visible. They're not all visible. I actually have Crohn's disease and rheumatoid arthritis, which, for those of you who have one or both of either of those, you know how debilitating they can be. Yes, it was scary when we found out about it, because we love to go to the bird shows. Not no more. And now we're wondering if possibly that's what killed our first little budgie when we got him. They have to wear little tiny masks. That's funny. I could just picture that. You guys, during the live sale, Rachel sits there and she doodles, her little scoop. That's her little scoop. She started just she took all the things where we had like these duplicates, and she just started drawing her bird. She loves her little bird. All right, guys. Oh, painted conures. Painted conures. Oh, maybe. You know what I'd really love to have is an outdoor aviary. I'd love a big, huge aviary in the backyard that I could walk in, have my little bench. I could sit in there and read and do stuff, and all my birdies would be like all there. It would be so amazing. I would love that. All right. Okay, guys, I got to wrap it up. I do have to get some work done. Even though it's a lazy day, I have a lot of shipping. Like, those of you who bought stuff at the live sale, that's what I'm doing today, is I'm shipping. So I got to get that done. So with that, everyone, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Yoshi is my text message alert. Go be profitable and make it fun. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.